Bada bing, bada boom. We are live, ladies and gentlemen.
We
Welcome
were
to
we was
Interviews,
already just
Stories, and Tales Monday Night Live.
we was just going on a conversation already.
To my right, we have Benny,
He should be
aka
far right.
Tulip. And then the far right, yeah, should we move him? Because he is far right of all of
Yeah,
us.
you need to put Benny far right. I'll be the penis in between us. Can we say that out
You know that makes me just a little queasy.
there? Look,
That's just
try,
not right. That's just not.
there's only remember there's only two genders now.
If I only knew how to move him. Probably move him to the
You
left.
know,
There he is.
There you
I,
go. Now he's far left
I see Richard's
Far
on there. I was just
or
asking,
far
where's
right.
Richard?
right. Richard.
Fight.
Hmm.
He'll be on.
Richard fight.
Ri- Richard will be on.
Yeah, he's already there. He's already there. Hello
Should we
from
just get the?
Phoenix, Arizona. Ah,
I don't see it yet.
So, who all we got in here? We got a lot of folks in here.
I don't see nothing.
The the the
I see
rumors
Rick Cooley.
the rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated.
Who said that?
No, I just everybody thought I was sick.
Yeah, everybody asked me what's wrong with Brett. I said, oh, he's just a butthole. I don't know.
You should
That's how he always
say,
is.
where do I start? Where do I start?
Oh, I can go all day, guys. Yeah.
You should see our personal when nobody's listening, our talks.
Oh, yeah.
I have to stay after
Yeah.
Chris all the time.
Yes, he does.
like a nagging wife.
I'm just a
Oh,
I'm just a
geez.
carpenter this week.
Benny, what have you been doing? Tell us a good story.
A good story. I had to go to, well, Wednesday night I was in, where the heck was I? I was in a Airbnb in downtown Fort Worth. And Thursday I had an appointment with a gal on some oil and gas stuff. And then I went back to my buddy's house. He got released from the hospital, sent home with what's some people hospice.
Oh,
I stayed
Mm.
there till Friday Friday afternoon, and I came home Friday night, and I've been going.
is your oil and gas deal? Is it kind of top secret stuff?
Yep,
Damn it.
Dang it!
nothing happens. Nothing happens. So when it, if anything ever happens, then I'll come out from behind a rock.
So when you get rich and famous, are you still going to hang out with us?
Oh yeah, I'll just have a tie all the time.
I don't know if I'd know how to react to you with a tie on.
Me neither. I don't like them. I used to have to wear them for work, and I hated it.
Pup
There we
Wiener,
go.
one
That's
of,
better.
one of the
Let's see.
best coyote hound guys in the world, according
Where
to
at?
Rick Cooley. Rick
Mr. Rick
Cooley said his
Cooley.
pup Wiener, I think his name's Chad. Is that what you told me? Pup Wiener. Everybody calls him Pup. Oh, come on. I'm looking here. Stop it.
What have you been doing, Mr. Christopher?
Building shelves. Built my mom a big pantry. It's about 24 foot long and 7 foot wide. 24-inch shelves. Nothing but shelves.
For like a pantry?
Yeah. Yep. So we tore out a door and a window and framed it in. And so I've been doing all weekend. Brought my mule and hounds down and haven't been able to take them out.
Are you still there?
Yeah.
Still going to be
Can you hear
working
me?
there? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was supposed to have an inspection tomorrow on another job, PI stuff, and I got pushed to Wednesday because today's a holiday and it didn't get scheduled when it was supposed to. So I scheduled it for Wednesday.
How's the Arizona Working Dog Alliance? What's anything new going on with the state or anything like that?
I did hear rumors I don't think it's been officially posted yet that they, instead of just changing it to one rule, you can't use dogs, they had two rules. And that's why I got kicked. So now it's going to be back in. So, and it's two petitions now. One with stupid stuff and one with stupider stuff, I imagine. They just don't want to give up, and so the thing is, if it goes in, I don't know if it's already went in or if it goes in tomorrow, whatever. If we do the march, and I did miss the commission meeting Friday. Who holds it on Valentine's Day? It was in Yuma. I just totally missed it. I thought it was going to be later in the month, and it wasn't. But there wasn't much going on there. A bunch of elk killers and people without guide license and just kind of boring stuff. But so if it goes, they're going to have to make a decision in 60 days is what they're supposed to do. But April's meeting will probably be 62 days. So I think they'll handle it.
Do they make it public what's on the agenda on those?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you just get on their website to find out, or
azgfd.gov. Go to agenda, commission agendas. They haven't posted March yet. I imagine if they're smart, they just put it on there. So anybody watching in Arizona, or just right, it's coming back. We already knew it's coming back. I do have a guy checking into it that's more legislative than I am. I just told him the rumor, and he hadn't heard about it, but he's going to check it. So I think he has some meetings. So I'll find out. But either way, go to azwda.com, and I got all the commissioners' emails down in the bottom on a link. Shows it. So go email them. Tell them this emotional rhetoric that's coming from the Center for Biological Diversity is nonsense. But I tell you who did. I don't know if I could send it to you. I tried to play it the other night on my show, and I didn't have no sound for some reason. But Lupe Diaz, Representative Lupe Diaz out of Arizona.
I seen that. I watched that.
Man, he gave a heck of a speech. So, I mean, he called them out. He kind of told us, he said, the Center for Biological Diversity is basically trying to take away our stuff, and it's ridiculous. And he said, I had some dog groups. Oh, and then I got a lot of texts and emails off of that. What dog groups? What dog groups? Or what groups are telling them to not run it? And I said, everyone. There's a reason for it. But, if it goes through, it goes through. If it goes through, the anti-hunters will do their best to make money off it. And they'll do their poor woe is me crap. And they're just not truthful. They stood up there and just did not tell, I think it was Russ McSpadden was there, and he said he witnessed firsthand that he's seen them harassing wildlife like jaguars and ocelots. That's what he kind of made it sound like, which just ain't true. But
seen who? The Houndsman?
Oh, hounds. Yeah, he insinuated that. I have it all.
What were the other dog groups?
That what?
You said there was other dog groups there. What
there was
other dog groups?
No. Lupe Diaz said there was other wildlife management organizations that were telling them to shut it down. So, I mean, I don't personally think the Game and Fish would be uneducated enough to stop hound hunting, considering it's the main part of wildlife management. But you never know. So, but I don't think the governor's going to go for it anyways, either way.
What do you think what everything Trump's doing with cutting out all this USDA spending and all that stuff? What do you think it's going to do?
You want to get into that already, huh? I think the cut's great. Here's the deal. And I know there's people that I know that are making money off it. But with the government, when you do government jobs, I don't know if anybody on this platform has done government jobs. You understand that it's you if it's a $5 job, you're charging $20 for it, and that's just how the government works. Back in the '90s, we were buying Humvees for $280,000, and they just had crappy battle paint, they called it, that was just full of sand and made it thick, and you could go down and get a Humvee for $80,000, you know. And I worked on them, so I know there wasn't much difference on them. But you can go down and get them for $80,000 with electric windows and AC, and they're selling them to the military for $250,000.
Well, there's probably now I don't know about that, but I know I've done a lot of government work in my life, and I know that through their specifications and their requirements and all that crap, they get you just have to spend. It's a lot harder to do their work. Yeah. So it costs a lot more money.
Well, and we know some people that was trapping for them, and if you're going to cut all that stuff out, and you got to do what you got to do is you got to take the steak over, throw it back on maybe, or serve it. So as long as they come back with a solution, are they gonna, if they pull all the government trappers, are they gonna allow more permits or more leisure in hunting as far as trying to get some of this stuff out? Well, so does that mean they're gonna cut government trappers in California trapping those mountain lions?
Is that well, I have the thought, Benny, is that going to affect what Richard does?
No. He is, I believe now, he retired from his federal job, and now he's working for a university.
Oh, okay, cool.
So, but that's who needs to take it over, maybe, is the private, right, Benny?
Yeah, but then you run into it's not an easy fix for any direction. That's the bottom line. Because the private sector doesn't get the same freedoms as the government sector. When you work but the private sector would pay better probably, because I know government trappers, government hunters that, especially in California, they're so abused, they'll never be able to retire and make anything. They're not listed as a GS. You know how the pay systems work in the government. The trappers and hunters in California are not GS. You have to be in management to be a GS rating. Mm-hmm. So there's not an easy fix, and I know there's a lot of people, when they cut all of this stuff and they shut it down, there's a lot of good people that are not milking the system that are getting laid off, and all we can do is hope that in short order some of that gets rectified and some of those people get their job back and get to go to work and support their families and have health care and all of that.
Okay, who so the government pays for them to go out and trap. Who does trapping coyotes and everything benefit?
Everybody, as far as I'm concerned. Everybody that's a sportsman, everybody.
No. Whose land do they trap?
At the top of,
You asked me.
Don't yell at me, Benny. You don't yell at me, Benny. I don't give a shit. You don't yell at me.
You guys have a good evening.
Goodbye.
Have a good evening.
Now you just ran Benny off.
I don't give a flying rat's ass. I'm saying, who does it benefit when they trap coyotes in the USDA? Who does it benefit? It benefits the ranchers, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Isn't that mainly where they do their work?
I don't know who they're writing it off under. Wildlife management, ranchers.
Well, I know. I realize that, trapping coyotes and doing depredation work benefits wildlife as a whole. But because my brother-in-law is on a big ranch up in Nevada, mm-hmm. and they come out and they fly the plane and they do all kinds of things to get rid of the coyotes. But it's on their private property. They're not supposed to fly public property. They fly private property. So what that's doing is it's benefiting the ranchers. So I don't know, and believe me, I don't know how it's paid for. I don't know if the ranchers have to pay so much to get them to do it, or what the deal is, or how much.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where that money comes from. Obviously, the federal government, if they're cutting the spending, and they're going to have to cut the spending, and they're going to have to, uh,
Hello, Benny.
like if you cut it, you can't just cut some here and there. I think they're just chopping it all off to hopefully reform it and bring it back under less waste. Because there's a lot of waste. There's a lot of waste
Oh
in the
yeah.
government, and it's not just across seas. It's not just the millions across seas. And I think we're all grateful when it hits across seas, but when it hits close to home, there's a ton of waste in the GS and in the forestry. You can't just leave. You can't clean one and not the other. So, but they have to have a solution. So if they're getting rid of everybody, like I said, I know a few people that are getting cut. Is Mike Roots getting cut? He does work for the forestry, does he not?
Yeah, he does pack
Mm-hmm.
work. Yeah, I mean
So I mean,
it's not a big part
is
of his
his
deal.
is his bill 500, and the next guy, Joe Dirt's bill 5,000?
Oh, I
A
don't
lot of
know.
people
I
take
don't.
advantage of the government and the price that we pay for the government
But you
just
got
because it says
it has to go
USA.
out to a competitive bid. It can't just be, hey buddy, I'll
Yeah.
give you this. It's got to be well, I say that, but it's supposed to be a competitive bid when you're spending public money.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. As far as the predator control, I think there would be room for private sector if there's a value in it and it's benefiting somebody, then they get rid of that. There should be room for a private company to be able to come in and work out deals with the ranchers, or maybe the states. Maybe what they're trying to do, I know, you know I know Trump believes in turning a lot of stuff over to the states.
Well, when you get rid of income tax, you talk about getting rid of income tax that goes to the federal government. If that goes away, everybody's great. Oh, let's get rid of income tax. Let's get rid of I don't believe we should pay land tax. If your house is you buy a house, you pay sales tax. There's no reason you should be paying tax your whole life and never own a house.
Yeah, I don't know much
But
about all that
when
stuff.
if you take away all your income tax and who's like that money goes to government and that money goes to forestry, or does the forestry money come from somewhere else? It's all government money. I think there's just a lot of people that have this government's been took advantage of as far as money, and when you get somebody coming in there and starting to balance the checkbook, it's not adding up. So
Hmm.
the best thing to do is shut a company down and restructure it when you have that much waste. But that's just me that has done this before in business. I've shut companies down and restructured and found out where the leaky hole is in the ship. You know,
What explain a little bit better? I don't
when you
know.
get when you get a lot of waste in a company,
Well, I know, but what
and they're
was your part in that? How did you do that? What did
investigator stuff. You just start. I did what Elon
investigate?
Musk does. I go through and find out why maintenance had $90,000
So
last.
you like audit their books, or
Pretty much
yeah?
books, inventory. When you have $100,000 in bearings and you go check your bearings and there's only $20,000 in bearings, or when you have an inventory. I've been in places where you have a inventory that they said is worth millions of dollars, and they go to sell it, and they have this inventory that's been there for 30 years that's no good. I mean, I've literally went to clean something up, and they said, no, you can't throw that away. I'm like, it's literally been here for 30 years. So they keep adding this inventory, and of course you got inflation. So let's just say let's just say it's a bag of flour, and they've had 100 bags of flour worth $5 a bag, and next year it's worth $8 a bag. Their their net worth. Look at me, I got this inventory that's worth $1 million, even though it's full of weevils and no good, but it's still inventory. Then they sell it, and the guy comes in and throws it all away and starts over. That's what's
Really?
happening. He's throwing away all the flour that has weevils in it. That's what Trump's doing.
Hmm.
Yeah, waste is waste. Whether it's a guy packing in stuff for, and what's Mike Root's charging? $10,000 for 4 miles of packing in? I don't know. He might not be, but who's the next guy?
Well,
So they
like I
got to
said,
sort
it's
that
still got
out.
to go out. It still has to go out to competitive bid. I've seen the
Hmm.
bids before. Now, whether he has any competition bidding against him or not, I don't know. But I would imagine there would be. I don't know.
I don't. Robert says he wish they defund. You can't defund the Forest Service. You have to manage the money better. I know people that's a forest guy that said, "Well, I didn't feel like going to do nothing today, so I just stayed back and sorted paint cans in the shed." So we're paying a guy to sort paint cans in a shed. That's a big way GS up there high, you know.
Yeah. Well,
So
I had that place up there in the mountains completely surrounded by forest for 10 years,
hmm
and they didn't do nothing. I mean, nothing. They had a trail crew come in one time, and they worked the trail up to Apache Peak, and they had a bunch of kids that, I don't know, some kind of program that did it. And the guy came in, the Forest Service guy came in the morning, and then he came back in the evening, and those kids hardly did anything. I mean, they got the trail worked over a period of time, but they didn't work that much of it. I mean, I think a
hmm
couple of hardworking guys with a chainsaw. Now, when I packed those guys out for Mike Root, I think they did a pretty good job. They had a guy there that, I got there that night, and that guy, he took charge of those kids that were working there, and he said, "Hey," he said, "let's help this man get these panniers off these mules." And he had them hopping. Next morning, we were up, and he was loading the panniers and getting everything and making sure they were balanced. And he was a go getter.
yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. I just don't. I've never had.
Well,
Like I
and then
said, I worked for the Air Force. I've worked for the Army. I was in Kansas working. It was a competitive bid. And I worked there for the Army for over a year, and we had to bid it.
Tim
I mean,
says,
we had to beat other people.
Tim says get rid of the BLM and DNR, but you can't. Just like you can't defund stuff, the police, because just because you have Jim Smith doing right, don't mean John Smith is doing right. So these people take advantage of the BLM. You know, I mean, when you get into the whole Bundy Ranch thing, I mean, there was a bunch of deal on taxes, and there was both sides of that story. I mean, who do you believe? That's the problem. Is we don't know who to believe. And right now, Trump's just defunding everything. You're getting rid of everything because our government does waste money, and everybody likes it. Everybody's all for it when it was homosexual dancing in Libya or somewhere, which is absolutely stupid. But we shouldn't be giving money to no country. All that money, that billions of dollars we gave, could be going to our forests. But I've never been a fan of forestry. I've never been a fan of forestry. I don't think they physically manage it good enough.
You mean
I
boots
mean,
on
how
the
many?
ground?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think a lot of that stuff is people wasting time, and I think it's a group of 20 hikers that took 10 days to clean a mile of land. I think you could take an illegal that's been here 20 years, give him a job, and he'd do 10 times better job and say, here,
Oh yeah.
here's your green card. You want to work? You're going to work for federal government. You're going to go in there and you're going to clean. Let's see how far you get with this. Let's see how far you get, and then we'll see who the liberal kids that work for forestry.
I think most of them are just, the main thing is they're just top heavy. I mean, they're
Hmm.
and supervision, like you said, boots on the ground is not very good.
No, I don't. I think the management, the physical leadership management out there, is very minimal. I'm in the forest all the time. I'm in the forest from August to January, and I don't see a lot of work getting done.
I know a
And
lot of people Guys, if Chris takes off, it's just going to be me.
Oh, my dog won't shut up out there. Probably a cat.
No, I lost my train of thought.
Well, he's talking about. See, I said when I'm out there for 4 months, I don't see forestry out there.
Oh no, but I know. I think that's what they're trying to get at is most of the converting it all over to the states.
Yeah.
So the states manage their own state, the property within it. And I think a lot of people are scared that we're going to lose a lot of our public land, that it'll go into private hands somehow. And then, be like Texas. They don't have any public land to speak of.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't slow Cody King down any.
No, and oh man, speaking of Texas, that it's kind of the same with. I had a guy, Dean Ross. If anybody follows me on Facebook, basically tell me that organizations were a joke, and we're basically serving leftovers when it comes to hound organizations. That's kind of probably what people think about government waste. What are we going to do about it? And then you get a guy who comes in here and does something about it, and he's cutting all this funding. This is your money. People should be concerned about it. Even if you lose your job, you should be concerned about it because he's cutting that funding. Now, what is that going to do? I don't know. I don't know what it's going to do for people. Like I said, we know people that I know a person that lost his job, I haven't talked to him yet about it to see kind of what the deal is, or if they just said, hey, we're done. Did they send out a letter or email and say, hey, cease and desist until we figure it out? Or did they just say you're done? I think we need to restructure it as a government. So
Benny's little friend. Benny got pissed at me, so he left.
Everybody gets pissed at you.
Who gets pissed at me?
Everybody.
Who's everybody?
Because you say it how it is. People don't like that.
I didn't think I said anything. He thought I was interrupting him. I said, no, I just wanted clarification. So my simple little brain can understand things.
Yep.
That's
and Benny should know you don't like politics, and he should just keep going.
No, he was being grumpy, and I don't be grumpy. Brett ran him off. Yeah, I did. And he's not allowed to come back until he apologizes. I don't care.
You guys would be like that Dr. Seuss where the two guys are standing there.
Oh, well, let's get
out of each other.
I thought Mondays weren't for politics. That's true. Wednesdays is usually when Chris gets into all the details of what he's doing, but I just thought
it's just something. We know a lot of people that's in, that are trapping and running mules.
And I've seen the post, on Facebook,
mm-hmm.
and you owe Benny an apology. He's been nothing but a friend to you. I can tell you some stories, Susan.
Yeah. I've seen them yell at each other in person. So I was stuck in the middle. I was like that little brother where the two big brothers are fighting in the car. And they're beating each other up. I remember me and my brother got in a fight one time in a truck, and my friend was on the outside. And we got in a fist fight going down the road. my buddy was hanging out the window because he didn't want to get in between it, man. I mean, I'm surprised we didn't wreck the truck. I mean, it was a fist fight. I was driving, and we were throwing blows. And it was a Dodge Dakota. It wasn't nothing big truck. It was a little truck. I'm used to it. Anderson. I don't know. It's tough because it's a lot of change and it's happening fast.
Yeah,
that's
happening
the deal.
Real fast.
It's not like a normal administration where you come in and say, "Hey, we're going to do this," and then 4 years comes up and he hasn't done it, and he says, "I'm going to do this." He's just doing it.
Well,
I think that gets a lot of people worried.
I think the writing's on the wall, and I'm sure they have a lot more insight to things than we do, and with the debt the way it is.
I don't I don't, if you don't do work for the forestry, and even if you're not ripping the government off when you're sitting in these bids, doesn't mean that you're not going to get cut. Because right now they don't see Jim charging $1,800 and Steve charging $22,000. They see a big bill. Why is forestry spending $22 billion in a year for all these subcontractors? So what do? Stop it. And then they start going through it. And maybe they'll pick out the good ones.
Who knows? Who knows?
Maybe it's just like $15 an hour minimum wage. I don't believe in that. But some of them people aren't worth $3.
That's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact. Now, what about the jealousy in the Houndsman world? Like the title said.
Yeah, we was talking about that today. I'm the same way when I see Derek Hall called me. I called him because we hadn't heard from him for a while. And he was up there in Unit 1 hunting. Shit, I was jealous because I wasn't up there hunting. I'm down here building shells. I think a lot of times you get frustrated with people when they get to go out and you don't. And then you wonder why some people are better. I mean, look at Mike Mincy. Let's take him in. He gets to hunt every day, every day.
That's what he does for a living.
Yeah, I hate him. I hate him for that.
So you don't hate him. You don't hate him. You're just jealous of him.
Yeah, I think we all would be better houndsmen if we didn't have a job and we had money to go run around. But I
mean, if you're making your money guiding hounds or guiding hunters,
then you have to be good.
That's right.
So we kind of talk crap about losing the interest in it, but I mean, you've even told me that Mike is just hard-hearted on it. He just goes like that's what he wants to do. That's what he does. And he got in a position he can do it.
And he hunts hard. I mean, There's no doubt about it. The guy does what it takes to catch lions.
Look at Warner Glenn.
Yeah.
And is Mike Vincey going to be the next Warner Glenn? I've said this. I said this last week. Warner Glenn wasn't Warner Glenn 40 years ago. Shoot, he wasn't Warner Glenn maybe 30 years ago, right? When did Bruce Kennedy, when did Warner Glenn come to light? I mean, even the Jaguar in 2006, right?
Well, they also did that. Disney did that movie with him and his dad called Wetback Hound.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. That was back in it must have been the early 70s, maybe the late 60s. I wonder.
And what makes him that? I'm jealous of that guy.
Well, I think he fits the bill.
But can you do that? How many people can get up every day, sun up, sun down? And didn't Kelly say she had to drag him in at 8:00 at night because he's still out there messing with stuff?
Oh, I bet. And I mean, and those, ranchers like him, they're always out on the land. I mean, so, and if you remember listening to the Bruce Kennedy's interview with Sewell Goodwin, that's what he kind of got tickled at. He said, man, he'd be out working cows or whatever, cut a lion track. Well, cow works was over. He was going to get his hounds and he was going to go hunt a lion. And that's the way, either they're making their living on the land or or they're guiding hunters, and doing it. But still, guiding hunters still seasonal. I mean, a lot of those guys, like, Rick Dickerson's for instance, he was a USDA hunter, and of course he, I'm sure he could hunt at night or anytime he wanted to, or needed to.
Yeah, I don't like him either. That's why I called him Rick Henderson. I didn't want to say his name.
You mispronounced his name on purpose.
Yeah. I think we all would. We all want the chance.
That Wetback Hound movie came out on Disney in 1957.
Mm-hmm. I don't. Everybody says they want to do that, but do you have the guts to do it, the heart to do it, the brain to do it? That's a lot of work, getting up every day doing that. Look at Mike Roots. That's what he lives for, getting up to do something.
Yeah.
He does everything. He's not hunting. He's dragging stuff into the forestry, or was.
Yeah, he
I'd like
packs
to
and
know if he got canceled. Did he get canceled too?
well, that's it. I don't think there's enough of that work. I don't think he's very busy doing that. I think it's just an occasional thing. Like I said, up there where I was there for 10 years, and they had one crew come in and work the trail, and there was no packing in or anything. They just worked a little portion of the trail. So,
I was
you can go.
hoping Casey Fair would jump on here and comment. See what I seen Becky Dwyer post something too.
Yeah, and I went ahead and commented on her post. I just, like I said to her, I said, how much they do, and maybe in different states they do. And I should say, if you go to a popular area like up in the Gila Wilderness by the cliff dwellings, and up in that, and it's a real popular area. A lot of people utilize that country up there. So I think they have a lot more trail maintenance working within that area. Now, there where I was, I think it was part of their plan to leave it as natural as possible. I mean, when I say it was surrounded by forest, it was the forest, and then I forget the buffer zone right there. It was within a few miles. It was wilderness area also. So I think that whole Aldo Leopold wilderness area, they try to keep it just natural without having, too many people getting into it, or I don't know if it's a public thing that they've made known. I think maybe it's just something they decided to do. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
and if you do got a cake job listen, I know a lot of people work for the government, and man, the waste is crazy. I know people throwing away stuff. Like, the thing is it's just like those trappers and stuff in California, those hound hunter, or the guys that are killing lions, and they have to chop it up so nobody gets it. There's people cleaning out connexes in the government full of stuff that could go to somewhere else.
man,
Clothing.
how did we get back to the government stuff and off the hound jealousy thing?
Oh, I don't know. Because Rick Dickerson, you said he got to do whatever he wanted, I think.
Well, he hunted lions for a living. That's what he did.
And he worked for the state.
Was it? I thought it was the USDA in Arizona.
Yeah, maybe it was. I think he did a little New Mexico stuff, little Arizona stuff.
I didn't know that he was in Arizona at all, or in New Mexico.
And Randy's right, and it's only the popular trails that get maintained.
I think
drives
so.
me crazy when they shut down a road. There's no reason to shut down a road in a forest, and they claim erosion and stuff, but half the time they shut these roads down, and guess what? There's no fire break no more. They can't get in there, so they just take a dozer, they make another road, and then people drive on
it. Then they shut it down.
And then they shut it down again. They put their boulders across it, people go around it, they put their berms on it, people drive over it.
If you get caught, what happens if you get caught driving on one of those roads?
Oh, fine. But half the time they pull their little brown stakes down that say no motorized vehicle. But I heard they had a map, and you're supposed to, ignorance ain't an excuse for breaking the law. Just because you didn't know the speed limit was 65 doesn't mean you go however fast you want. But anyway. it does. So it does go into the Houndsmen, because once they start chopping everything, either they got to give us more permits for hound hunting so we can all go out and do more deer hunting or hound hunting, or they have to figure it out. But there's people out there already doing it, and that's why I don't like them, because I'm stuck here building shelves. And I got lions right here to the south that are terrorizing little pets.
Well, you got to make a living. That's the problem. That making a living gets in the way of a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
I had to do it for years and years.
Yeah.
Pay the bills.
And there's snow. There's snow up in that country. Derek was up there in the snow. Said they got a foot of snow in some areas. But
Has he been cutting any line tracks?
he did cut. He did cut a track and tried to get it out. Couldn't. Had a dog that stayed on it, and then snow kind of froze up. Got hard on top. The good old ice glacier. So he didn't catch it. Derek told me. He said, when I was up in Alaska, I was catching everything like crazy. I was going to go down and show them Arizona boys how to do it because I had a fast dog. He said, I got down to Arizona, and it's a whole different world down here. I said, there's a lot different bare ground and, dry ground.
Running roads
Dry
and
ground.
in the snow and cutting tracks like that and dumping dogs on them and free casting dogs through dry ground, and half the time you can't find a track. You got dogs. That's why one of those broke dry ground lion hounds is worth so much money.
Oh, 2-year-olds for $7,000, shit like that.
Or that one that sold for $17,500.
But your guys, even in your dry ground, I think the reason it's tough to, like where you at, where I'm at, it's tough to trail. They will trail, but you definitely got to learn how to leapfrog and get around and hopefully try to catch where they're going to go or you think they're going to go, whether they're headed to a water or a deer bed area or wherever you think. That's why those big circles are important. Because, for me, it's all luck. So when you don't have dogs that just trail all the time, you're trying to cut these big circles and catch that track that's a little hotter. I've pulled dogs that are going up and over a mountain off a track and went down in the valley and came around because I knew if they went up and over, I was going to lose them. And I didn't, I knew it was going that way. And I've pulled them off and went around and caught that track in the floor. And it saved us probably an hour.
Said Marvin Glenn was a houndsman. Yeah, that's how. I guess they, back in those days they did it. Of course, there wasn't the USDA back then, so they had to do it out of self-defense. Did you hear about that? Someone even sent me the picture of that. Who was it sent me that picture? Oh, it was on Facebook. I don't know if it was true or not.
I don't know how old that was either.
Really?
Yeah, I did see that. Someone said that was old, and someone said photoshopped. And
you can't believe anything on Facebook anymore.
No, and those the anti-activist, I don't remember her name. Her last name was, I think, Ball, Susan Ball, or she worked for that Grand Canyon anti-hunter place, but they talk about lion corridors and they talk about or jaguar corridors and all this stuff. I did talk to Lupe after and I said, listen, you're not running jaguars out of here. You're not. These jaguars aren't even staying here. There's a reason you don't see them for 6 months. So, yeah. Bone pile Chris does for a living. Private investigator for a living. And I was a 63 Sierra in the Army, which is a heavy wheel maintenance guy. And I ran around Arizona fixing the HEMTs because I was the only one certified.
What's a
on
HEMT?
The HEMTs.
What's a HEMT?
The big spaceship looking machines. Oh, I'd love to have one. Let me see. I can dig up a picture, send it to you. But 130 something sensors on it. I mean, they have 2,200 pounds of torque, 2,200 horsepower. Got the big Detroits in them. Just a ridiculous V8. It looks like a turtle, kind of.
Well, they carry like a. Well, I guess they carry. They make them.
They do. So they have the tankers. They have the wreckers. They have the haulers. We had a wrecker. Let me see here. Save the photos. I'll send it to you right now. I loved them. I'll tell you a story. I was coming from Phoenix to Casa Grande, and I was in a HEMT, and I accidentally turned up the governor on them. It ain't a hard little quick screw. All my stuff was running hot. You just got to be careful with them because you'll get a runaway diesel when you turn them up too much or whatever. But man, I was running down I-10 headed to Casa Grande, and I got pulled over by Highway Patrol, and they're not really allowed to pull you over, I guess, unless you're doing something stupid. But he said, "How fast are you going?" I said, the speedometers only said 55 on those. And I said, "I don't know, 55." But man, you was running 90 miles an hour. And I knew it. I could hear those tires humming. And it was just floating. I loved it. Unimog.
What's
No,
a Unimog?
that Unimog. I'll take one of those. No, the Hemets. I sent you a picture. Did it go through yet? Oh yeah, it did.
Not yet on this.
Oh, you haven't got it yet. The Unimogs are a little different, I believe. I'm old school. I was in the 90s. I went split training, and I went in my junior summer. I went to basic, came back, finished my senior year, and then went back to my AIT, and after I graduated.
What's AIT?
Advanced individual training, where they teach you how to do all this. It's like 3 months of mechanics. Like they go over, get to tear stuff apart, drive stuff. I tell you what I did.
You're a straight up diesel mechanic?
Heavy wheeled mechanic, but I ended up going to Florence. There it is. That's your Hemet. God, I love them. You have wreckers, you have haulers, you have tankers.
Who makes them?
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know.
I'll be dang.
Probably Oshkosh. I don't know.
China?
Yeah. Then they got all fancy later on when they had those had a switch where you flip it to mud or sand and it air the tires up automatically.
Wow.
But they were cool. I loved them.
A lot of maintenance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They actually did good. I think they only got one stuck in Saudi when it was in Iraq when it was in a spot it shouldn't have been. Oshkosh. He's right. That's what I thought. Oshkosh. Anderson knows. With a Unimog. I think I know what he's talking about. Let me look up the Unimog. I think I was trying to buy one on Marketplace. Facebook Marketplace. It's like let me see here. Oh yeah. No, I'd take one of them Unimogs. So they had the M911, which is a ridiculous. It hauled 80 tons, like 80-ton tank. We put them on the trailers. The hubs on the trailers, just the brake hubs were 300 pounds. You had to use this dolly to pull them off. Huge 4-foot radiator, 6-foot tire, just ridiculous amount of machinery. But they used to take a 915, which is like a regular semi basically, and you'd have to drive through the. You could put a lot of hounds in one of those things. Oh yeah, you know what I have in my yard too is I ended up with 15 M211s, which is if you ever watched First Blood with Rambo. That deuce and a half he jumps over the cars in Rambo. I have 5 left. I got 15 of them. I think I'm down to 5, maybe 6.
15
maybe
deuce
7.
and a halves?
Yeah.
What do you do with them?
I've traded them off mainly, and I got a couple. I got a Cummins I want to put in one and make a wrecker out of it. I always have all these great ideas. Just time and money to do it. I wanted to make a hound truck, yeah.
You like me, like I used to say, when I had the money to do something, I didn't have the time. Then when I had the time, I didn't have the money.
That's about it. I sent you a Unimog.
Oh.
That's a Mercedes. There it is.
Wow, look at that thing.
That's a pretty one. That's the thing. Everybody gets these mine's not a multi-fuel. So those M211s I have, they're actually propane. They were, if anybody been up to Canyon de Chelly and rode in those deuce and a halves that took them down in the canyons, I got all those. I got every one of those. All 15 of them. Well, there's like 18 or 19. I think some of the workers took some.
Here we go. We're getting off track again. We're not on the Houndsman jealousy. I think it's like you said, when you see a lot of people, I mean, and I've struggled with it myself. You see people doing good, and there's a certain amount of jealousy that builds up in you for
Yeah.
whatever reason. Either they're been luckier than you, or their time, or they're just work harder at it and they're better than you. They got better hounds. But
I
the
don't know if they
same
have
thing.
better hounds. They have hounds that have more experience. Because I
Yeah.
think a lot of people that have hounds that are shitty and trashy just don't have the time behind them. You know, Jared, we rated Houndsmen last, and Jared said, you know, you got your crappy ones who barely go out, maybe once or twice a year, and you got your, I guess, number twos that get to go out on the weekends because they got a job. Then you got your kind of crackhead ones that go out all the time. Then you got your straight killers, they just go out. You know, he's kind of like a 4 level. There's 4 kinds. You know, if you rated him 1 to 5, you know what I mean. What would you rate yourself? Me, I'd be pushing hardly a 2 right now. You know, so
I don't know. I don't want to embarrass myself and rate myself.
yeah.
I don't.
So
I've had a lot more time, but I haven't been very successful. Let's put it that way.
that's an M211.
But you don't. I mean, still, it's the same old
That's
thing.
an M211. That's what I have 5 or 6 more of.
You don't, jealousy or not, you don't build yourself up by tearing someone else down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got 5 or 6 of those.
How in
And
the
they
world?
added-
How in the world
they
did you
added-
get so many?
Canyon Day Shea, she said she was just retiring. They ran them for like 29, 30 years. They had one go over there's no brakes on them. They took all the brakes on them, all the brakes off them, and they put a pinion brake on the drive shaft. So there's one disc brake on the drive shaft. Those are automatics. Those are like the Cadillac of the deuce and half. Those were an automatic. You had high, low, you know, and it's 6-wheel drive all the time. It's all-wheel drive. There's no bringing it out of 6-wheel drive. They did about 50 miles an hour, you know, downhill, maybe 48 miles an hour. But I had a REB kit in all of those. And the REB kits made it where you can shift it. When you put it in low range or high range to go, there's no park. It's just reverse, high range, neutral, low range. The REB was a shifter that you mounted in there that would shift it 4 gears. So you manually shifted it 1, 2, 3, 4 if you wanted to. So, and they're propane. They got 30-gallon tanks on them, and it's a propane. When you tear those engines apart, it looks like they came out of the factory. There's no carbon. It's 100% shiny as you can get.
Oh yeah, we used to run all our trucks years ago on propane, all our company trucks.
Yep.
And used to be able to buy it in the oil field, you know, real cheap.
I'm gonna make a dog truck out of one and make everybody jealous of me.
There you go.
My kids drive them around.
I wonder.
I have one that drives them.
In the jealousy, I wonder if back in the old days, of course, I think the internet and Facebook is brought along so much of that. Because I was
Internet
wondering,
condones
was Steve Smith and Warner Glenn, were they jealous of each other? They all went to rendezvous and all got together.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's what makes these old timers famous. More famous than what they were. You know, if there was no CDs, I didn't know not knowing who Warner Glenn is.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I knew about him prior to Bruce Kennedy or not. I can't remember.
Mike Rich is right. What's it matter? It doesn't matter. And I joke around a lot when I'm like, "Hey, you're in my unit." You know, I've been in Unit 1, and Sonny Tapia, I bumped into him. He says, "This ain't 3B." I said, "It is today." You know, we all hunt our little areas. We all hunt our different ways. You know.
Well, okay.
And I try to help people.
Bency, Mike's down here hunting my area. He's down here up there by my camp and all around different places. And he sent me a message today and asked me, you know, he said, you know, where's some other places I can go? And I built him some routes on OnX Map and sent it to him. And then But I'm gonna go up and show him. I think Wednesday I'm gonna go ride with him for a day and show him some of that country. Isn't it? It's no big deal. I mean, if they take a couple lions out of there, it ain't gonna hurt nothing. I mean, there will be some more move in. I mean, it's too
Yeah.
good a country. But I
I
don't.
don't think. I think we don't want no one in our area because we want to hunt that area. You know, I have a female here that I can catch and train, and when someone kills it
Work
out,
your dogs
and
on.
I killed a female out for a client, a cancer kid, way back in the day, and they got mad at me for it.
Really?
So, some people did.
Hello,
So,
Missy. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there was a time when I had a lot of jealousy. I think I outgrew it. I don't really care anymore. I like to
well,
see people do good.
I think you have those guys that are really bad. I mean, there's guys that will block a road. There's guys that will try to bully you out there. And I heard of some guys doing that in an area, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go over there. Don't tell me not to go over there. I'm gonna go over there, and I did. I went over there, and I bumped into one of them that was hunting with them, and I was like, just out here looking for line track. Didn't say nothing to me, but I heard he bullied some other people. I think if they get away with it, they're just mad that someone's in their area, and I think when you start involving guiding.
Money changing hands.
When you're selling apples and there's only 3 apple trees and 4 people selling them, you're going to have a problem.
Conflict.
Sooner or later, you're going to double up somewhere. Or you meet, how many times have you guys heard of a tree fight? Client standing there and people just walk away.
Have you heard it? Have you?
Oh, yeah.
I'll be dang.
Yeah. I mean, all the way to the rumor that people got thrown in their own dog box because it was a big fight. Like, it's stupid to me. Shoot, me and Liz been to a tree. Well, there was 50 dogs there. 50 dogs.
Jeez.
And I knew all those guys, and we just, hey, we're here. And I think we held all the old dogs back and let the puppies go even later on.
Was it treed and freed, or was it a bear?
Yeah, no, it was just a little bear. It was a little bear, 100-pounder. I don't think it was 120 pounds. But everybody was in agreement it was a little bear. I think there would have been a problem if all of a sudden you got somebody wanting to shoot a 100-pound bear. I've never shot a bear. Probably the smallest bear I shot was my first bear, and I bet you it was 150 pounds, but it was the first bear I treated with dogs, period. It's the first bear ever that I put my dogs on. Me and my buddy seen a track. I told him later on it should run across the road. It did. We let dogs go. We caught it in 400 yards.
Did you think, man, this is easy?
I did. And then we went another month or 2 without it. Then we walked in, caught another bear, and that was a horrible experience. I even filmed it and had it on YouTube. I pulled it off when I started realizing that this was back in 2000.
Why'd you pull it off?
Too many shots.
Oh,
it just wasn't on the ground. One of them ones that all those people like Dean Ross thinks okay to shove in people's face, by the way.
Who's Dean Ross?
Dean Ross is the guy who said that anybody starting an organization is pretty much an idiot, and we're all slaves to society, and we should just. He's the one who sent that.
You could rephrase that and say anybody has to be an idiot to start an organization.
That's exactly what it is, because I've been nothing but busy. My phone, no lie, I talk for 2-3 hours every day. Every day. I had a guy call me today. Actually, one of Rick Cooley's friends called me today and wants to go elk hunting. I said, come on over. But it's just, and then I had to text some people and say, hey, we got a bill going out. Or we got the petition. I heard this. You need to find out before it so I can start working on it. I got to make sure it's true. I don't have to make sure it's true. They're going to petition us. So go to Game and Fish, Arizona Game and Fish, and say, hey, people are. I mean, I can't say not to do or to go with it because I'm a C3. But as Chris Watson, this is ridiculous. And I'm not on here as AWDA. I just got a sign behind me.
What do you mean you're not on here? You're not.
As a C3, you can't say yay or nay on a bill. You can't
Oh.
say. You have to just educate about it.
Oh.
I got to be smart because those guys are afraid of me. I seen Russ right there across the hall. I wish I'd have talked to him. I thought he was going to hang around after, but should have known he wasn't.
So
right, Russ?
You can't say to vote no on a bill.
Nay or yay, yeah. You have to be very neutral or education. Now, if I was a C4, I can say vote for HB because it's the best thing. But
well,
as
what
a
are
C3,
all these anti-hunting groups?
Exactly right. Right there. If you look in the rules and regulations of being a C3, you're not supposed to lie and deceive. Basically is what it says in a nutshell, layman's terms, to people about stuff. And they absolutely 100% do that. HACES have done that. CBD has done that. All their shit about that they spew about knowing or seeing it happen in person, that maybe a jaguar, a wildlife has been harassed. You know how many deer I've ran off of a canyon with my dogs and found that deer hunting 2 months later in the same canyon?
No, I know.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother deal. But no, Dean Ross got on there and proceeded to be a cool guy on the internet and tell everybody how an organization is like leftovers. If organizations don't work, then why did we win Colorado?
Yeah, I seen you post that.
Why did Wyoming win? They all got together. Organizations do work. It's people that are lazy and scared and uneducated that are a pig hunter in Texas. I'll probably get sued. But that's what he does. He hunts private land probably in Texas. I've had Texans call me. I had 3 people call me that day and say this guy is not right. I'll just say not right to make it very family oriented. And they said he hunts. It's all private land in Texas. He goes, if they outlawed it, I'm going to go to private land anyways. And that's what they do.
Huh.
These are big ranches that take 45 minutes to go down the driveway they're hunting. And they're hunting pigs. Pigs. No one cares about pigs. The guy has 1.8 million views on a pig. And honestly, here I'll probably start some crap here, but how hard is it? And if there's any pig hunters here, tell me how hard is it? Ed Barnes, I should ask Ed Barnes, how hard is it to train a pig, a dog, to get a pig? I have 2 pit bulls at my house right now that one of them had chewed the fenders off of one of my cars. It was a junk car, fiberglass fenders. Chewed the fenders off to get to rats, pack rats. So you tell me I couldn't put that dog on a hog and do something? And how many hogs are over there? Lots. How many lions are here? Enough. Not lots. We can't go out and kill 15, 20, 30, in a month. So that's my rant about people who don't know their head from their ass about organizations. I mean, I don't like to be mean to people. I talked to the guy. He was all trying to bust me out like, oh, you asked me to come on your show. You have terms. I'll come. I said, come on.
There's no terms.
I'll send you a link. I said, I'll send you a link. You can come on and explain yourself. I'm all down. And he said, I'll come on your show if you read the terms below at the bottom of this. And I said, there's no terms on my show. You come on and be a man and I'm not going to pre-record it and make you look good or make me look good. Let's just go. Come on. I'll send you a link. Plain and simple.
Did he respond?
Oh, no, I haven't even checked it. I'm not one of those guys that hound over the comments. I forget about it, and then I'll go check it. I think he quit commenting. Derek Hall got on there, and kind of called him idiot. A lot of people like, you're a pig hunter, man. And I'm not discrediting pig hunters. I want to hunt pigs. God dang, I wish Arizona had some. I'd be out there hunting pigs.
Here you go,
That's
Paul
what I'd be
Shaw.
doing.
Put an ad in the Thrifty Nickel with a Mule or Winchester for sale, and you'll see jealous. They bow the F up. You know, another thing that they do.
Pullers.
Huh?
Dirty, rotten pork pullers. Hey, I'd be a pork puller, man. I'm telling you, I'd do it.
Read some of the comments on Facebook when somebody puts something for sale and they find out, putting a horse for sale or whatever, and they're asking $10,000 for it. And people get mad because they're asking so much. You don't have to buy it. I mean, you can ask anything you want. Asking and getting is two different things.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes they just get so upset because somebody's asking a lot of money for something. Well, if they don't sell it, they don't sell it. They're asking too much.
Yep.
But then usually some yahoo comes around and pays them for it.
And all you guys who need a dog box for your side-by-side, we're raffling one off.
Cool.
$25 a spot or $5 for $100.
Did Value Pack get a hold of you?
I did. He's going to probably give us some dog food for the Hound trials. He's going to give us some dog food for the rendezvous. I got to send him. I'm glad you reminded me. I got to send him some events coming up. I wanted to do a banquet in the spring. Don't know if that's going to happen this year. I got to still make that call. And if I don't get a hold of you, and if I ask you to be on my show, here's the disclaimer for people who like to screenshot our messages. Like, I don't want to say names because I don't want Dean Ross knowing I'm talking about him. But if you, I forget about it, it's because I'm stupid. And I'm all over the place.
I really like
100%.
a guy who can admit stuff like that.
Oh, if I don't get back to you, get back to me. Say, hey, stupid. Jeremy does it all the time from Louisiana. He just texts me, Gene Morris sends me texts all the time, and I'll look at them, busy, and then I'll get like, I didn't answer him back. So if it takes me a couple of days, hey, sorry, call me. Ask my number and call me.
Anyway, to everybody out there and that's listening or watching in the future, because these stay up on the channel forever, I guess. Value Pack is a good company. They really support our way of life, which is not, you can't say that about a lot of those dog food companies. I mean, they try. They really do try.
But rephrase that. He supports even the Western cat hunter way of life, because a lot of these guys,
coon hunters,
just go back east because of the coon hunter. And they do all those shows and all that good stuff. But
for every one of us, there's 50 of them or 100 or more.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I really have a soft spot for Value Pack. And it's good dog food. I'm feeding that purple sack. And I tell you what, I can see a big difference. I really can. I'm not doing that just because they're helping us out. But
I'm back to Diamond down here because I don't know anybody who sells it down here.
You buy the maroon bag?
Up in Sholo, I buy the red bag of Value Pack, but down here, I buy the maroon bag of Diamond. I need to find out if anybody sells it around here. But I mean, I'm in Phoenix. I'm way down south, kind of south of Phoenix, about 20, 30 miles. Cardboard, and look it up. They've been spreading out a little bit. And I didn't know they had it in Sholo. He said, I wish he had it here. And all of a sudden, I found out they had it at a little tiny feed store shop in Sholo. So now I'm hooked up with it. I told Brian from Value Pack, I said, there's only one thing wrong with it. I said, you got to make them square because they're little tiny round ones. And gosh dang, man, it rolls off my dog boxes when I feed. I got a couple I feed on top. Wayne. Wayne tried to call me on my birthday. And I said, sorry, old lady's giving me a present right now, and you don't want. I could FaceTime you if you want. Diamond Pro 89 is what I'm feeding now. I feed the Diamond, high energy. When I'm down here. When I'm up there, I feed, the other stuff. Value Pack. The red bag. I haven't moved the maroon bag, but I'm not running. I'll probably go to the maroon bag a month before bear.
I got lucky. A friend of mine uh, owns a hardware feed store there in Hatch. Village Hardware. If you're passing through there, stop and buy something. They were looking for a new dog food supplier, and so I got a hold of Brian and I put them together, and so now they carry value pack dog food.
Well, Troy, I think a lot of dog food is a trend, and I don't even know where I can get a Nuckshuck. I've heard of people saying it's good food. I've listened to Joy on their podcast and talking about what they do. I don't. Well, Joy is also, gosh dang, what's that other one?
Standard, high standard, I think.
Yeah, High Standard or something.
Comes out of the same factory, I think.
Yeah, and I couldn't find. I think they only had like the low stuff, not the high energy protein stuff. But I feed my dogs a lot of meat. I gotta quit being lazy. I know a guy that just runs around and talk about a jealous. You want to see jealous? This guy goes around. I don't know what he does. He don't have a wife. That's why, or kids, I think. So he has a lot of time, freedom, and money. all the things that come.
All those things a wife takes away from you.
Yeah, and it's not for me not trying. I've been trying to find him a gal, but he goes to all those butchers all over. I bet you that guy probably visits 20 of them. I don't even know, to get as much as he does, and he buys this stuff for 10 cents on the dollar. Everything, and he's just piled up. So
I feed quite a bit of meat too. I got a whole freezer full in there. That there's a guy down here that gives me all the scraps and everything if I stop by. I just supplement with it, I guess is what you should say.
Yeah. Well, when I'm hunting bear, I give about a handful is about a pound. So I'll feed them dog food, but when we run really hard that day or whatever, I'll give them a handful of that meat too. Because I butcher my own stuff. That guy called me today. He goes, "Oh, you got a butcher shop around there?" And I said, "Yeah, me." I said, "We can hamburger it and roast it, and you get home, you can cut some steaks." So
that I think Cody feeds that a Nuckshuck. I think Cody King feeds it. You got to buy it a pallet at a time, or at least if you don't have a distributor, they'll sell it to you a pallet at a time, I guess. Because I talked to them, they were real nice, but I just couldn't get it here.
I think, dang it, George Lambert feeds it too.
Does he? Mm-hmm. And from what is it made out of? Beaver or something like that? Isn't that what it's made out of?
Oh, I don't know. There was a big deal, I think in London or somewhere in Europe. Have you seen any of that where the hounds got into some garden? And all the animal activists were all crazy about it.
Got into a garden?
Yeah, they do that big fox hound hunt. Well, I guess.
Oh, where they wear the.
Mm-hmm.
They ride around on their horses.
Mm-hmm.
I had a guy come down hunt with me that did that. They did that on coyotes up by Flagstaff. Matter of fact, on this, he worked for this big rich guy. I think they fed like 50 dogs. They had a whole bunch of dogs, and they had run coyotes like they do those foxes. I don't think they ever catch them, but they ran those coyotes like they did foxes, and they all had to wear their colors and everything, and they rode an English saddle, and they had helmets on and stuff.
Yep. W carries a Nuckshuck. Yeah.
W Hunting Supply. This podcast is brought to you by W Hunting Supply also.
Yep.
For all your hound hunting needs, collars, everything. I guess. Yep. I don't know what all do they carry?
Everything.
Everything.
I don't know.
That's what I thought.
I think they're famous for the Garmins.
Yeah.
So
that's where I've bought all my Garmin stuff is from W. And now it's public. Jason's leaving. He's leaving W Hunting Supply.
Oh yeah, he's set up. So if you guys didn't know and he didn't want us to tell you, we just busted you out. That's what you get.
Yeah, they made a podcast about it.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. But
shoot, I'm so busy I don't even listen to podcasts no more hardly. I did watch your show today, though.
Oh, my little video.
Uh-huh. Since I don't get to make none.
Yep, that was tough because the dogs were trailing around the backside of that mountain. My wife threatened me with my life.
Arizona pot liquors. I imagine you can if you just got to find a dealer there. They might have one down there. If not, I guess you could order, or we could get together and order one up northeast Arizona. I'm in Sholo, but southeast, if you're talking about Safford or further.
What did Joe Rogan post? I didn't see it, I guess.
Yeah, tell us what he posted. That's my brother right there.
Jason Watt?
Yeah. You don't know how to spell.
He shortened his name.
Yeah. So just got to see if any of those dealers down there, I guess you can ask Brian. See if they have a list. They have a website, right?
In Nuckchuck?
No.
Am I behind?
Can we order the value pack by the pallet?
Oh, yeah.
I need to order a pallet. So nice having it. I got bugs in my dog food one time.
Really?
Little black beetles. But someone told me to. I have a big safe that I got, and it was a night deposit box that went in the bank. So when it dropped down, it'd go into this box, and then they would check it, whatever. But I got it, and I could keep probably 2 pallets in it. That's how big it is, big steel box. But I had bought a bunch of dog food. My son used to pay rent with dog food. He'd buy 10 bags. He'd buy 10 bags every 2 weeks and just kept that full. But in the bottom, it was wolves let go with no notifications. Big surprise.
Let go where at, I wonder?
I don't know. I'll have to listen now.
Arizona.
They'll sleep it off.
Well, I'm not going to say nothing.
They'll sleep it off. Wolves, yeah, I don't like wolves. There's a reason we got. I mean, there's a reason we get rid of them, and these people who think conservation is going to fix itself, they have no clue.
The natural world.
Mm-hmm. I think my favorite part about CBD's press release is, I think in the end of it, it says, we're all about traditional hunting. Like, what are you talking about? Traditional with spears?
What does that mean?
Dogs are probably older than spears, like almost.
Pretty close.
Dogs treat it, and somebody picked up a stick and said, sharpen that up and let's stab it. So, Colorado again. One thing we never mention is what kind of friends these hounds are to us. My dog is keeping me company while I'm out. Stayed away from my family, and an old blue is keeping me sane. My dad has 2 puppies, and they're as much as the Salazar line as I've had for a while, because he has my line, so I'm going to try to steal one from him. But that's why I got Stinker. And I got all my dogs down here. When I don't have my dogs down here, I have a trailer right here. I have 4 dogs on the left, on the north side. I have 4 dogs on the right side, the south side, and I have 2 dogs on the east side. And then I got Stinker, who stays in the trailer. And I have it's an old 1960s or 70 trailer. Don't leak a bit because it's built right. And where the fridge used to be, I just have a little electric one now, but where it used to be had a vent box, and she knows how to open that door and come in and out. It's not a doggy door. She just knows how to open the door and come in and out. Oh, it kind of sucks because when I get home, she comes and wakes me up to go outside and pee. Here, she just goes out the door and it slams. It just opens up. She sneaks out and it slams and it wakes me up. And then she'll come in and use her nose and get back in. It's kind of funny. But
I had a
well, I
dog.
have.
I had a dog get loose the other day, and he's been getting loose. He started digging, and he can tunnel. I mean, he can tunnel like a boring machine. And I got after him for getting loose and digging. Just raised my voice to him and everything. But he's real sensitive type dog. And the other day, my wife and I were sitting out on the back porch drinking a cup of coffee, and I could hear whoa, whoa, way out there. And I said, "Dad, gummit." I said, "That's Bean. He's way out there." So I jumped in the buggy and took off and started hollering, and drove all around out there looking for him. Couldn't find him. Come back to the place, looked all over the place, couldn't find him. Went to the pen and looked in there, and he was hiding in the back of his dog box. He knew he was in trouble. He wouldn't even come out then for me to talk to him. He just, but them hounds, they're smarter than you think they are.
Oh yeah, they know. They know what's wrong and right. Let me tell you a better story. I forgot about it till you just brought this up. My wife goes out to feed the mule. I'll feed for you. I said, all right. I think I was doing shelves or something. She goes out to feed the mule. She calls me and says, "Where's your mule?" I said, "It's in the back." In the big, she goes, "I don't see it." I'm like, "Oh, she stands by the trailer because I feed her on this side, not the other side no more." I don't see her. I'm like, I'm literally about to get in the shower. I had to put my pants back on, put my boots on, turn the shower off, go out there, and she wasn't there. I have 3 gates. I have one on the west side, like a car gate. I got another one on the south side, it's a bigger gate, and I got a little tiny gate. And it probably been open this whole week. She just didn't figure out it was open until she figured out it was open, and she just walked right through it. It's a little man gate. It's tiny, barely fit through it yourself. So I track her out. She hits the alley and is going down the alley. I'm like, damn it! I said, I'm gonna go get the halter and I'll get my truck. My old lady walks down the alley tracking her out, and I get a call. She goes, "She's right here." She was out in this field doing whatever she's doing, and my wife said, "Sage, get over here." And she looks over, perks her ears up, runs right at my wife, like a dog. They're out probably 200-300 yards down the alley, and I walk out the property, and she looked over and sees something come out. She's one of them weird mules, and turns around, like wants to run off, and stops and turns around and looks. And I said, "Sage, get over here." It's like a dog that hadn't seen its owner. That dumb mule that won't let me catch her in the mornings ran right at. I wish I didn't even think to pull my phone out and record it. She ran right at me, 100 miles an hour, stopped by me, and let me put the halter. I just threw the rope over her neck. Didn't even halter. She was like happy to see me. But it was dinner time too, so she knew. She knew she was in trouble. But the mule that I don't let go, I've let her go a little bit out there to see what she does. But I always thought if she goes, she's going to run from me. Because, you try to catch them in the morning. And I think she does it as a game. Because usually I start yelling. I'm like, "God dang it. Get over here and quit messing around." And then she'll stop. I'm like, "You son of a gun." I love that mule, man. For a free mule, she reared up on me one time. I used to pull her next to a hill, throw my leg over her, and ride her straight up the hill because she was just full of energy. I did that for a few months, and to where she's like, "Oh man, this is wearing me out."
Too much work, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people want to put that big old prong bit in their mouth where it's just yanking up on the roof of their mouth or pinching them up. But I tell you what, you got a runaway horse. I had a runaway horse, and I took him out in that field across my dad's with foot deep full of crap dirt. And when that horse would want to run, I ran that horse. I ran that horse until it wanted to stop. And I said, "No way, you want to run? We're going to run." And I would run that horse until it was sweating dead, until I let it stop. And I'm going to tell you right there, I ride all my stuff. The only one I don't ride with a halter is the mule. I haven't even tried it. I need to try it. But all my other horses, I only ride with a halter. I hate bits. I'll be honest. It's just another piece of equipment that will fail. A halter hardly fails. And if you can halter break a horse, neck rein steers for you, you're golden. You can just tie it up right there. I use a long lead rope. I got real long reins. I got a long lead rope I tie around her neck. Good to go.
If you're just
That's
riding,
my.
if you're just riding trails and riding out, then you got them handling pretty good. Then that's really all you need,
Oh yeah.
unless you get in a bind, and then you might need something a little more to get their attention.
Yeah, I've never. Usually, the top of their head gets their attention really well. Nice little thunk on the top of their head. That's why I got long reins. But I got that. I got that mule for free. I've roped off her, and she does good. Backs up, drags, crashes right through the cattle. Like she don't care. But god dang, if you get her, like she just weird. I ran her into a choya. I backed her right into a choya. And I thought, God, I already seen it. I already seen my live flash. I seen me on the ground. I seen a choya in my eyes and my everywhere, and me yelling and screaming and crying. And she just stood there. I slid off her, got a stick, knocked that choya off. She kicked at it a little bit, like she tried to kick it off. And then when I went down there to pull it off, she just stood there. I got a good mule, so she'll probably throw
That's
me.
what it amounts to. You got a good mule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for being as hyper, when she gets lazy, I go, and she jumps like she's scared and takes off.
Grabs
That's how I
her
get her
ass
to
and
go.
goes.
Yeah, when she gets like lazy. But she used to do this thing. You're riding along, like someone came up and poked her right in the butt. She took her butt and kind of jumped forward a little bit. I'm like, what are you doing? And then she didn't trust me. And I tell you what, we just got this trust now, and man, it's nice having a good horse. I haven't had
That's
one
what you have to
in a
do
while.
with a mule is you have to develop a bond and a trust with them, or if not, you got a problem most of the time.
You start out hard with the mule, they remember that.
They don't forget.
They
That's
know.
a fact.
And I ain't no hound trainer, I ain't no mule trainer, but I've had enough to tell you what I do. So, all you jealous sons of guns, because I'm a great mule skinner. It's the only mule I've ever owned, and I got lucky. Guy gave her to me. His son was in the background shaking his head. I'm, oh man, telling me a story about he had a mule almost kill one of his daughters, and he bennied up, did the benny thing. But it ain't worth having anything bad. It ain't worth having a bad dog with no manners. Some people like it. Rick Dickerson, he said they hunted. I didn't. But he hunted all the time. He didn't care. He was going.
He kept them down, yeah.
Me, I don't hunt all the time. I don't always hunt like he did. I like to have manners. I love having manners on a dog. But
yeah, I gotta have.
You're losing your voice.
I gotta have a handle on everything. Or
even Benny.
I'm not going to put up with him getting mad at me. I was just trying to ask a question.
You guys.
I'm not going to put up with it.
Aspen, Colorado. I guess they let some
who
go
let
there
them
again.
I wonder who let them loose. Who let them out?
Probably that federal government.
The government did?
Oh, yeah. So, is Bill the one that always has internet trouble?
Maybe.
When I edit these podcasts for W, there's hardly any voice, like you don't break up or nothing.
Really?
So I think it's just yeah. Listen to them, like go through, like there every once in a while you'll get a little glitch, but it records it really good. YouTube records it really good.
I'll be dang.
So I think a lot of the breakup and stuff with you guys is not just our internet, maybe, but your internet.
Maybe it's not the upload; it's the download.
Yeah, and usually your download's good. Yeah,
you know what I mean. So YouTube gets the good audio, but then when they send it out to everybody or however that works, that's when it breaks up. Maybe
it's like my StreamYard records it perfect.
Yeah.
Even when I think I go through it, there's been very few times I've had to cut out a piece because it's just too bad.
And you have your own podcast too, don't you, Chris? Are you still doing that?
Yeah, I did. I just uploaded an old one about squirrels I forgot I had. It's a pretty cool one. Those guys are pretty good on those like squirrels, and I just had Stinker getting into it. So if you guys go to anywhere and look up free casting, and you'll find my podcast. And I'll
Spotify,
upload, yeah, Spotify, yeah.
Apple. Is it on
Spotify
Apple
and
Podcasts?
Apple, yeah. Spotify and Apple. There's like 10 or 15 of them it's on. I couldn't tell you. There's like Bilby or I don't know. There's all kinds of, but everybody uses Apple or Spotify. So if you go to Apple or Spotify, there you go. Just type in free casting, no G, and it'll pop up. But I did a good squirrel one. I forgot. I need to tell those guys I did that.
Squirrel one.
Yeah, we talked about squirrel hunting. I had a lot of people asking about squirrel hunting. So I said, I got 2 squirrel guys from back east, and man, they're serious about it. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that's a big deal.
I think Robert Chase was on that one with me, too.
Don't they use those little feist dogs a lot?
Oh, yeah. Guy had a cur. You'd have to listen to it. But I listen to them all over again because I go through them and cut out. I'm getting used to where I hit the mute and you can't hear me clear my throat because I probably got lung cancer and smoke. Yeah, all the time. I try, and you know how we say, or so, I cut a lot of those out. And then all the spaces I go through and I cut the spaces. So if you guys listen to the like double U, you'll notice there's probably less spaces because I have a silence thing I hit and it clears out all the silences under 20 dBs. So any silence makes it sound like we just don't stutter. So if there's any silence like this, it'll cut it out. That's all you'll hear is if there's any silence like this, you'll cut it out. And it's a really good program.
That helps because I was listening to a podcast driving back from Ruidoso today, and I thought something went wrong. I thought it was I lost service or whatever it was, but no, they just had big silences between conversations.
That's a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah.
Since I'm such a podcast entrepreneur professional.
That's why I send all my stuff to you, Chris.
I was gonna say that's how it happened. Brett says, I don't want to deal with it, you do it. So I got a program and I started working on it. I'm like, oh, it's kind of cool. I got a girl, Corinne W. She does like podcast stuff for people. And I called her and said, hey, what am I doing wrong? Anything? She said, no, you just keep doing it.
Yeah. So, I said all this goes to Chris. Chris does all the work.
They will use a feist right. Were you on there, Cass River Ranch? Were you on that? Or you were mentioned on that? I don't remember, man. That was kind of a long time ago, and I had it, and I seen it, and like, oh man, I gotta.
That's where you gotta have a good locating tree dog.
Stinker does good for as many she's been on. She's only been on a few, and she will, but sometimes she'll not see it, and she'll stare up there. So you have to kind of find it, but she knows it's there. She's right some of the time. She's a starer. If it's in there and she sees it, yeah, she'll bark at it.
But if she just thinks it's in there, she smells it and
she'll stare at it and just kind of whine. So we'll look in there and tap the tree, and if it moves, she'll go. They will use feist up until they get their first curs. They use all kinds of dogs. I'm using a mini border collie hound mix. And my cousin, Kent Powell. Anyway, my cousin looking for a beagle hound. He wants a beagle hound cross now. He's had a beagle and he's had a hound. Now he wants a beagle hound.
I love the way those little beagles trail. Man, that Marty sent me that video of his beagles. That's pretty intense. We're gonna leave them in.
They don't
edit out fights or leave them in so you have good drama like a reality TV show.
Mm-hmm.
One thing about it, we're real here.
Well, that's why when that what was his name? Dang it! Who's the guy I was talking crap about earlier? I forgot his name already.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, when you meet my request or whatever, I'm like, what? I don't know, man. We just get on and talk. You don't like it.
That's it.
I'll send you a link And if you want to get on, then let's get on.
Yeah, anybody wants to get on, we'll send you a link. You can come on.
I've never edited out. The only thing I edit out is just coughs or or sometimes the F word. We don't say it much here. Every once in a while it gets snuck in.
I won't. I don't. That's never
Well,
been
mainly that's
part
on
of.
mine.
Never been part of my vocabulary. If I ever drop an F bomb, then I'm really, really
Yeah, the
angry.
Dwyer. Yeah. Becky Dwyer and them. I think Cleveland Becky. Has anybody heard about that? What's going on in Nevada?
What about it?
Dean Ross. Thank you, Bill. I don't know. They were doing that, trying to make it where guides or have to like a draw like Idaho, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how Hal does it. My congrats to hal.org or .com, whichever one it is. They keep up with a lot of stuff. I don't know how. I got people texting me saying, "Hey, I heard this," or "Hey, I heard this." So I have to look into it. I don't know how people find this. I'm like, "How'd you find that?" Well, someone told me. That's what I heard this last time. Like, dude, I'm not finding this. Where'd you find it? He goes, "Oh, I was up at a show, and someone told me." So then I started making my calls saying, "Hey, have you heard about this?" And then I get text back saying, "Well, we got a meeting Wednesday about it. I'll let you know." So if anybody is paying attention to Arizona, the people who petitioned, which would be the CBD, Center for Biological Diversity, God bless them and their emotional rhetoric, but they're probably going to put 2 petitions back in. So keep an eye on that, azwda.com. Go to the emails, email the commissioners and say, "Hey, leave us alone. Let's just hunt." And if you want to win a dog back box for your side-by-side, custom fit, azwda.com.
Go to the website and you got a form there?
Yeah, you go down and it says win a dog box. You click on that link, takes you to another page. So my Venmos, they kicked me out of Venmo again.
Why?
I sent them all my IRS stuff, and now they wanted a picture of my driver's license. I sent them that, and it's been forever, so I have to use my personal one. It's just Venmo's pissing me off. PayPal has no problem with me. Venmo is a part of PayPal.
Really?
So
what's the difference? Then why use one or the other?
I have no clue. Why would you start another one? What Let me open a feed store across the store so I can. I don't know.
Compete
maybe
with myself.
I guess. I don't know. So if you guys want to win a dog box, $5 for $100 or $25 a piece. And if you're in New Mexico, I'm gonna throw out. I keep forgetting. I kind of screw him over. He's giving away a dog box too for a truck he built, and it's $50 and 40 spots.
John Rutter,
I believe. Yes.
Why don't you ever get him on? Have you ever had him on your show?
He's been on my show. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, good. I never hear from him.
He's just, probably like me. You got to bug him. Like you just get busy, and he's really starting to build this up. I think he's up to 30 members, maybe more.
Really?
I think I'm at 80 something.
Like I said before, I knew about him, New Mexico Houndsman Association, and there was a guy that down here that bumped into me from time to time, and he was a member, and he'd go to their coon hunts, I guess is what they were, their night hunts. But I never knew much. That's all I thought they ever did. I didn't know they had a regular organization. I thought it was just for coon hunters.
I think that's what he started out like. It's been around since like the 60s.
Yeah. Back then it was big, I think.
New Mexico Houndsman Association.com. I'm pretty sure it's what it is. We're going to do some trials. I don't personally, but the CATHA, Central Arizona Trail Hound Association, they do their hound trials, and I'm going to do my best to sponsor them. I already sponsor them because I go give them all my damn money all summer. But it's great for kids. Anybody in Arizona or around that wants to come, we've had people from New Mexico. It's going to be February, March, April, whatever the last day of April is, 30, 31, and June 1st. Then it's like the third, maybe fourth weekend. I got the dates. I'll have to send them to you real quick. You can post it just real fast. I made a little. There we go. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. I guess I could send you that one too, though. Where's it at? Oh, here it is. That's the drawing one. And the second one is going to be. So if you guys want to do. This is for the drawing. The first picture I sent you is for the drawing. The second one is the Hound Trials. It's going to be May 31st, June 1st, June 28th and 29th, July 26th, 27th, and thank God we've got this all fixed, but it's August 16th and 17th because the weekend before that is opening of bear season, and that's a very religious ceremony for me and my family, and I've been missing it.
How do you just go bear hunting?
We just go. It's like August. It's like the first. There's a couple things we do. August, the first weekend or second weekend of August is usually bear, and we get out. We go camp for a week, and we just let the dogs. It's Western. They run all over the place. We get them burnt out, and by the second week, if it's still open, we're catching usually, and then it goes into 3 weeks of archery after that. Sometimes I don't come home for a month.
Really?
But I'm broke this year. so if anybody wants to pay me to go hunt.
It hasn't come through. It came through on my phone. Hasn't come through on the computer yet. Oh.
So that's the CATHA dates. It's called CATHA, Central Arizona Trailhound Association. It's a 501c3. 501c3. So it's all donation based. It's $25 a membership for the year for your family. They're like $3 they're like, oh, someone just put in. Who just put in? Someone just put in for that raffle. Oh, Caleb Scherer.
Cool.
And all these people that say I'm only going to put in one. Oh, Mr. Anderson. Let's talk about. We had a phone conversation and everything. He talked highly about Brett, so he must not know you very well. This right here is for the dog box. Apex Dog Boxes and Fabrication is one of the sponsors building the dog box. Cold Strike is one of our AWDA sponsors. And then 25 an entry. Or you can go to coldstrikegear.com. Sorry, W. And purchase an AWDA hoodie or a hat, and you'll get an entry for every purchase. Did I sound good on that?
Absolutely.
I sound like a salesman? I'm getting better at it. I miss Benny. Benny. I'll go give Benny a hug. And this is Arizona.
You can see Benny on Wednesday night. Go over to Free Casting.
You come on my show Wednesday and I'll kick you off. And maybe that would make everybody feel better.
I didn't kick him off. He left.
I know. He did leave.
I did not kick him off.
So this is the Hound Trials in Arizona. It's down by, if you know where Pine, Arizona is, or Clint's Wells. It's right by Potato Lake in that area, Clint's Wells. If you go to Facebook, look up Central Arizona Trailhound Association, CATHA, Central Arizona Trailhound Association. They have a Facebook page, and she posts a lot on there, and then I post a lot. Sign-ups are Saturday morning, 7:30. They're $3 a race. You have, oh, God, I'm going to mess this up. Saturday morning, I get up, I make breakfast, you camp next to me. All those guys are ropers. We're just the outcast rednecks. So they do all their little roping stuff all night and play games, and my kids go over and harass them. And I just stay in camp and cook. Saturday morning, sign up, $3. It's coon drags. We do the coon drags, which is juniors first, then seniors or however. And then we do a 100-yard dash. So it's 100 yards. We drag something. Whoever makes
Got a
it
little
makes
music
it.
background.
Oh, man. My wife knows I'm on a live. I don't know what she's calling me. And then we do the tree competition, single tree with one dog treeing, and then we do a double tree with 2 dogs treeing. However many barks in a minute, you win. And then we go do a lion drag. And then we go to the water race. Sunday, the only thing we don't do the tree competition or the 100-yard dash. We just do the coon drag, bear drag, and water race. We go back. They give away stuff. The first 3 months, she'll give away stuff after every day, just a little raffle. You could put in for a raffle. You get a free ticket every time you show up. So at the end of in August is a huge takes an hour or two raffle. You can buy raffle tickets they give away. I've won $300 backpacks, $300 bedrolls. So
Cool.
everybody shows up in August. But to make it fair, if you show up, you get free ticket. Everybody in your family gets a free ticket to get into the members raffle, and they'll give away something big on the members raffle. So you kind of get rewarded for being the one that show up every week, every month. 4 months. It's a lot of fun, honestly. It's a lot of fun. Sometimes
Cool.
there's some drunk people. Sometimes there's a lot of yelling. Sometimes there's kids riding 4 quads around and chasing each other. It's good for the kids. It's good for the dogs to get acquainted with other dogs. But the worst fight I've ever had was there. And that was between father-son, or brothers, Dirty and Andy. Because, listen, guys, don't bring a jip in heat.
Yeah, that's not good.
No, don't bring a jip in heat. And if your dog bites, we'll let you muzzle it, or we got a little leniency for it. You know what I mean? But if it gets to be a problem, we're gonna either tell you to muzzle it, or you're not gonna get the run if you have an aggressive dog. We don't need none of that crap.
It's only fair.
No one likes aggressive dog. But it's pretty cool. You know, it's not very big. No, it wasn't. You get 30, 40 dogs on the bear drag. And there's no fights. Honestly, it's crazy. Knock on wood. But you let them go and they all run. Good to go. So
Well, cool.
there you go. There's my spill.
Leave you something to think about, guys.
Leave you guys something to think about. Brett's getting tired. I can tell his eyes.
I'm getting tired. I've been tired.
He drove today from Texas.
So, guys,
yep.
Appreciate you stopping in. Sorry for the drama.
Yeah, they'll get over it.
But
so
anyhow.
All righty. Wednesday.
Wednesday night, go to free casting over on Christopher's.
Maybe I'll get Dean
channel.
Ross on. Maybe I won't. I don't know if I meet his terms.
Benny will be on yours. So
Benny will be there.
Those of y'all missing Benny, there you go.
He's our new Wednesday guy. All righty.
All right. We'll see y'all later. Thank you.
Later.